Here's a look at Arrogate yesterday as he finally made his way to the main track to just jog around it a few times in preparation for a work today. Bob Baffert letting us know that should Arrogate get that work in on Sunday, they will still be right on schedule for his preparations for the Pegasus World Cup. And news coming in today that he will indeed have an opportunity to work right around 11 o'clock in the morning. We'll have more on that when we check in with our reporters live at Santa Anita. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the starting gate. My name is Mike Joyce. I will be here for the next 60 minutes. We will have updates from Brittany Urton, Kate and Bradar, who are live in the field at Santa Anita and Gulfstream Park. And as always, I am joined by my good friend and colleague, Matthew Carruthers. The rain affecting everything yesterday, everything off the turf at Santa Anita, and a drying out, muddy, sticky, heavy track.
It was a weird Saturday, wasn't it? It was so cold in Florence, Kentucky, they canceled their card. The snow wreaking havoc on Ozone Park, New York, they canceled their card. Rain in Southern California, a couple of graded stakes races taken off the turf, the Grade 3 La Cienega and the Grade 2 San Gabriel. That being said, we're going to show it to you here in a second. We were put in for a treat in the Sham. That made up for all the cancellations and bad weather, because that race was that good yesterday.
It was our race of the day yesterday when we did the starting gate.
Doesn't get any better.
And it lived up to the billing. It's always best when the most competitive race you see is the one that looked the most competitive going in. Here's a look at those final odds for the Sham. As you suspected, it was the two-horse betting affair that was set up to be. American Anthem would be the even money favorite. Gormley would go off at 8-5 as your second choice. This is how they lined up. Let's see how they ran in the Grade 3 Sham Stakes yesterday at Santa Anita.
Racing. Gormley begins brilliantly, has the early lead. Here's American Anthem matching him now along the inside, and Big Hit is 3 out and Blabbermere is 4 wide. American Anthem goes to the lead. At the 7/8 pole, American Anthem by 1 length to Gormley and 2 lengths to Blabbermere. They race 3 clear of Big Hit. Next is the Maiden, Bird is the word. He's followed by Colonel Samson and Term of Art 3 lengths last. At the 3/4 pole, an American Anthem in the front of Gormley by a length. 2 lengths to Blabbermere, crossing towards the rail, a clear third. A gap of 2.5 lengths, Big Hit when they pass the 5/8 pole. A couple more to Colonel Samson, followed by Bird is the word, and 4 lengths to Term of Art. It's a solid tempo in the Sham. Halfway along the back stretch, American Anthem by 3/4 of a length to Gormley. It's the top pair disputing it at the half-mile pole. Gormley ranging up within a half length of American Anthem. 2.5 to Blabbermere, being joined on the outside by Big Hit, who's working into the race nicely. 3 lengths Colonel Samson and 4 to Term of Art, relegating Bird is the word to 7th and last. Less than 3/8 to go, and Gormley within ahead of American Anthem. 2.5 lengths away comes Big Hit running third, well clear of the rest, headed by Colonel Samson. At the quarter pole, it's American Anthem trying to fend off Gormley. Gormley's level with him. Gormley travelling well on the outside with 3/16 left to go. Takes the lead by a half length from American Anthem. 6 lengths away then in the field is Big Hit with an 1/8 left to go. It's Gormley in front. American Anthem second, coming back strongly on the inside. Gormley's ahead in front. American Anthem dogged on his inside. American Anthem lacking experience and seasoning. Gormley, American Anthem, a thriller in the Sham. Gormley a nose, American Anthem. 12 lengths to Big Hit, followed by Bird is the word, who crept into the superfecta at 45-1.
A race that lived up to the billing. I mean, they were 1-2 all the way around the racetrack. Here comes Gormley making his move, but American Anthem had something to say about it down the stretch.
I mean, Gormley's going to win this race by a length or two, right? He's the horse that's more seasoned. He's the horse with the Grade 1 win who ran the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. American Anthem's the horse with 1 sprint race under his belt. Look at American Anthem battle back on the inside. As Michael Rona mentioned, they're a zillion lengths clear of the 3rd place finisher. It's Gormley by a nose. Mike Smith saying after the race that if he was in the 2 path and Gormley was in the rail, he probably would have won that race. These are 2 really well-bred, talented horses from top-notch barns, ridden by 2 of the game's best. Victor Espinoza aboard Gormley, Mike Smith aboard American Anthem. Wow, I mean, American Anthem, the one that in defeat, I really take out of this race how tough this horse is. We saw that when we previewed this race yesterday in his debut. That maiden win looked like he had no chance of winning. Little Juanito was gone on the front end, able to win that race, and even in defeat, battling back and losing by an inch to the more experienced Gormley. Top 2 were fabulous on Saturday.
Yeah, they looked great in competition, and looking great next to Brittany Urton right now is Gormley as we join her on the backstretch at Santa Anita. Brittany, he is certainly at the top of the class here in Southern California for 3-year-olds.
Oh, that he is. I mean, after the performance yesterday, you have to put him in the top contenders for the Kentucky Derby. I'm at John Sheriff's barn right now, and he actually was just heading out to the track, so I spoke with him briefly. He said that performance did not surprise him in the slightest, and I asked him, what were the thoughts? These two horses are starting to pull away from the field, nose and nose, coming down to the wire together. He said, honestly, I was just soaking it all in. I am so proud of him. Victor Espinoza saying the key here, or yesterday, was that he broke clean. He's fast from the gate. He gave him a little bit of a breather, and you kind of saw that for a moment coming around the backside. You thought maybe American Anthem was going to pull away, and then coming around the turn, it looked like maybe Gormley was going to pull away. It was a horse race that we were looking for between those top two contenders, American Anthem and Gormley. He came out of the race in perfect shape. John saying he doesn't have a specific race pointed out for him. February 4th would be the Robert Louis Stake, so potentially we'll see him there, but all positive things for Gormley coming out of that race. And you could just tell Jerry Moss coming down to the winner's circle and John Sheriff, ear-to-ear smiles. Always love seeing their silks back in the winner's circle, and Gormley going to be a very, very strong contender in the Kentucky Derby, and we'll see where he ends up next. I'll keep you guys posted, but as mentioned, the next race that seems preps with points on the line would be February 4th, the Robert Louis Stakes. And just another note, I asked him about the fight that he showed against American Anthem yesterday. He said that didn't surprise me. He shows it in the morning. I expected that from him. So he's a cool cat, and from hearing from the guys at the barn, his personality, he may bite you, so I'm not going to stand too close here. He's just a typical 3-year-old colt.
Typical, except for the fact that he's exceptionally talented and he looks to be one of the best Derby contenders here on the left coast. Brittany, thank you very much. We'll check in with you again throughout the show.
A lot of
Gormley,
energy
however,
the day after, huh?
He looked, yeah, he was hamming it
Not
up.
at all. He's bouncy in his stall, less than 24 hours removed.
Yeah, he was looking for that camera too, making that Christmas present for John Sheriff's this year. His new photography camera, very useful when you're so photogenic as such. That was the feature, one of the three that actually retained its graded status. The other two were scheduled to go on the turf. As we did the show yesterday, the La Ciennegas was going to be on the turf. They actually changed that prior to the start of the card at Santa Anita. So both turf races off, and in the end, it would be Blue Tone in this performance for Bob Hess that would get the score.
Yeah, I mean, Ken Desarmo kind of seizing control of the race early on in this off-the-turf event, and Desarmo's so good, getting the lead, slowing things down, and then when it looks like, oh, you're going to get to him, he has something left in reserve because he was able to get away with, kind of moderate fractions in the middle stage of the race. And that was the case with Blue Tone, who, a main track horse anyways, a horse who'd never been on turf. So he moved up big time with a surface switch, inside post, showed that speed, and a horse who's made over $500,000 now in his career. Boy, these guys have won races together for a long time. Talking about Kent Desarmo for Bob Hess. You go back more than 25 years with this relationship.
Yeah, and there they are in the San Gabriel Winner's Circle, 70th running. Loses its graded status, but that's just fine. The Connections still get to cash that check. Here's Watch This Cat in the La Ciennegas. This one we knew was off the turf because it was slated to go down the hillside. You spit on that hillside turf course and they're going to take it off, but they had so much rain yesterday. Corey Nakatani, boy, he's wasted no time getting back in the saddle and finding his competitive edge.
No, I mean, we're showing Espinoza and Smith in a battle, then we're showing Desarmo win. Now we're showing another veteran who's back, and Corey Nakatani.
What year is it? 1999?
Yeah, I know. These guys just don't appear to age, and no rust for Corey Nakatani. And Watch This Cat, third straight win. Well done, Richard Baltus, who claimed this horse for $32,000 at Santa Anita back in June.
At Gulfstream Park, we had 4 stakes races on the card. The Dania Beach is where we'll start. Made You Look. This was a professional performance and an impressive race here for Todd Pletcher and Javier.
You heard Caden after the race use the term, push button. That's what Made You Look like. I mean, push button for Javier. Save ground, save ground, save ground, gets outside, best horse explodes late to win for fun. This horse in now 5 lifetime starts is a multiple graded stakes winner, having won the grade 2 with Anticipation and the Dania Beach Saturday at Gulfstream.
There's another look.
By the way,
yeah.
This horse wins the Dania Beach at 6-5. The pick 5 at Gulfstream on Saturday still paid over $71,000 for 50 cents.
It was impossible to get to this horse. It was literally impossible. Here's Bellavi's in the Ginger Brew. As we pick him up at the top of the lane, John Velasquez once again in the irons of this one for James Toner.
Watch what happens here, Mike. Watch Bellavi's and John Velasquez. And right now, I think maybe he gets hit with the whip by Lionel Reyes. And watch this. Whoa! Kind of props a little bit here towards the end of the race. It was difficult to tell whether or not The 7 was trying to bite, savage the horse to the inside, or just reacting, being hit with the whip. After the race, John Velasquez said, hey, I think she's got hit in the face a little bit, and she was reacting to that, still able to recover, hop a little bit, and score.
The old hat Wildcat Kate would spring a mild upset in this race with Eddie Ynez in the irons. At this point, she's at the throat latch of the front runner and just starts to inch away.
This is a terrific horse race, too, wasn't it? This is the undefeated Bodie's Dream for Todd Pletcher on the inside. Wildcat Kate, who was 2 3/4 behind Bodie's Dream when they met over a sloppy racetrack in the house party last month. But Wildcat Kate, Eduardo Ynez, great job of staying closer to Bodie's Dream on Saturday and able to just get by her late. And one of the reasons why that pick 5 paid $71,000 is Bodie's Dream was defeated at around 1-5 here in the old hat.
And there's a look at all the winner's circle festivities. And she turns the tables on Bodie's Dream as she'd faced him prior to the old hat and finished second. Here's Sonic Mule down the stretch in the Mucho Macho Man under Javier.
This is not fair with Todd Pletcher, right? We show a win, we show a win, we show a defeat by a head, another win here with Sonic Mule, not one of those real short price Pletcher winners, but another real close horse race, game performance, able to win by a neck. Even though it was close, it looked like they could have went around again, as Trevor would say, and Sonic Mule is still going to win this race with Javier aboard. Horse with some versatility, won over a sloppy racetrack in his last start, going 6 furlongs, wins over a fast track at a mile in the Mucho Macho Man. His 3rd consecutive win, a horse who started out with a win, then lost 3 in a row, now has won 3 in a row, and no surprise on a big day at Gulfstream in which he had 4 stakes races. The Todd Pletcher was a big factor in winning 2 of them.
He was the right answer yesterday when I asked you the question, who do you want to sidle up to at the bar tonight? It was Todd. He could have won 3 stakes races. He just misses with Bodie's Dream.
If you asked me that question today, it would probably be Todd. It would be the same answer. It would always be Todd Pletcher or Chad Brown.
Caton Bradar was live on site for all the stakes racing action yesterday at Gulfstream Park. Caton, your impression of what we saw yesterday in the big day for Todd Pletcher?
Well, you know, we talked about the close finish in the Sham and how exciting that race turned out to be in actuality after shaping up to be an exciting race. We had an awful lot of them yesterday, and Todd was on both ends, the winners and the losers. That was a tough beat for Bodie's Dream, but I think maybe just topping off a little bit, not quite as bright perhaps as she was in her victory before. That's quite a rematch, though, of sorts that we could maybe look forward to down the line with Wildcat Kate and Bodie's Dream. But Todd, of course, impressive with Major Look. And then looking ahead, I thought the 2 most interesting and exciting finishes really were the last 2 stakes races, though they were ungraded in the Ginger Brew. I thought Bellevue showed amazing tenacity. And you are right. Johnny Velasquez, I talked to him later, said exactly what happened. She did get struck in the head after bullying her way through that traffic and ranging up beside the eventual runner-up. She got struck in the nose by the whip. She lunged and kind of tried to bite at the whip in retaliation and then just dug in and beat her at the wire. And that's the kind of fight I like to see from a tiny little horse who, going into the race, had never crossed the finish line in front. I think she's got a bright future for Jimmy Toner, who's developed an awful lot of top-class turf fillies in the past, so she's one to watch out for. Then in the Mucho Macho Man, Sonic Mule impressed me by being more settled and a little bit more mature, I think. Although it's only a few weeks since his last race, he was a bit of a different horse. He didn't get hot at all. He didn't get rattled in the post parade, and he showed I thought great courage through the stretch to come on with the win, because several times the runner-up looked as if he was going to blow on past him. Now that's another horse that I'm going to watch down the line, though, and see if perhaps some tweaking of equipment could make a difference for him. But I think you'll hear more from the 1-2 finishers in that race. And as always, Todd Pletcher loaded so far as those horses, good horses in stakes races are concerned. But a real contrast today so far as the weather's concerned. Yesterday we had intermittent showers throughout the day. Didn't really change the technical condition of the track. We were mostly fast and firm through the whole day. A couple of races were sealed, but they would unseal the track later when the rain would stop. But today, real drop in the temperature. It's brisk here in South Florida. I know it pales in comparison to what's happening around the country. But right now, we were in the 40s overnight, and today we're only expected to warm up to about 60, 61 degrees. So it's brisk. There's a 22-mile-per-hour wind out of the northern direction. I'm not sure how that's going to impact the runners, but it will impact some of them for sure, because you can easily get blown around here. It's gusting past 25 miles an hour. was a welcome to South Florida, though, that was unexpected on the part of the California Chrome camp. Now, he arrived, as we know, day before yesterday, walked yesterday, and then was scheduled to train early in the morning. The Shermans have always taken him to the track early, but particularly here in South Florida, want to make sure they beat the heat. Well, there was no heat. It was in the 40s when he took to the racetrack at 5:45 this morning with his regular exercise rider, Higney Gladney, on board. He made one scheduled lap the wrong way, jogging, and was feeling so good and so fresh that they opted to take him another time. So 2 miles around the Gulfstream track, main track, in brisk conditions, him loving every minute of it, knowing he's the man, and looked just super out on the track. Right now, the schedule is for California Chrome to breeze here at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. And of course, we'll continue to track him day by day as we get closer to the Pegasus on January 28th.
Kate, and get used to him looking good in the mornings and strutting his stuff, and then when he actually does have a work, it'll be much faster than it looks, as he is accustomed to doing. Thank you very much. We'll check in with you in just a little bit. Matthew, he's made his way there. They're going to see what we see every week, every day here in Southern California with Chrome preparing, but we're getting oh so close to that Pegasus World Cup, and Arrogate today puts in his work that they had hoped they wouldn't miss because of the rain.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later, but yeah, a little before noon Pacific, a little before the first race at Santa Anita. It's a really important drill. We're going to get to the daily watch list and the weather, and when we get to the weather, I think we're going to see decent weather for Southern California. Finally, the temperature's going to warm up, and no rain expected today, I don't believe.
Maybe I can get my car washed today. Let's take a look at the weather. The weather's already wreaked havoc on one card as they have canceled at Aqueduct today. The daily watch list, there's a little bit less to watch. We had cancellations of Turfway Park and Aqueduct yesterday. Aqueduct has already thrown in the towel today.
Yeah, right.
The Santa Ynez, our feature from Santa Anita. We will take a look at that field in due time. And the Charger Bar Handicap, first Grade 1 affair of the year at Los Alamitos for the quarter horses this evening. Here's a look at that weather. It's a little bit better than what we saw recently. It's canceled, but they are partly cloudy, high of 25 in New York, but they still deemed it unsafe to race. Laurel, very similar to what we saw in New York. Fairgrounds, Santa Anita, Golden Gate Fields, Tampa Bay, Turf Paradise there. It looks a little like a little bit of rain up there at Golden Gate Fields.
Look at that, sunny and 73. Out here in Southern California, very nice, yeah. Living down in New Orleans for 5 years, that's pretty cold down in New Orleans, 47 degrees. But yeah, New York canceled. Yeah, it's partly cloudy today, but it's cold, and they received enough snow yesterday that they decided to, instead of try to conduct the card and then cancel right before the first race, let's just cancel early and wait for another day.
When we return on the starting gate, we're going to start taking a look at some of the action coming up today at Santa Anita. The Santa Ynez Unique Belle, monstrous filly, struts her stuff a little bit later.
Last fall, Noted and Quoted notched a noteworthy Grade 1 win.
Noted and Quoted in front of With Honours, clear of Zappacat. Noted and Quoted over With Honours. Noted and Quoted.
Shane's girlfriend traveled to Louisiana and became the Princess of the Bayou.
It's Shane's girlfriend to demolish this field in the Delta Downs, Princess.
And Unique Bella is light on experience, but might be a standalone talent.
This was a one-horse race, and that one horse is Unique Bella.
The Grade 2 Santa Ynez Stakes, Sunday at Santa Anita.
As good as the Sham was yesterday, the Santa Ynez is shaping up to be somewhat better. You have three major contenders in here, and Unique Bella hasn't even been headed. Neither is Shane's girlfriend in 2 starts.
I don't know if it can be better than the Sham from yesterday, but yeah, I mean, yesterday it looked like a 2-horse race on paper. This is a 3-horse race on paper. Unique Bella, Noted and Quoted, as a Grade 1 winner, and Shane's girlfriend, who freaked at Delta Downs in her last start. All legitimate, talented 3-year-old fillies.
Unique Bella won by 10 1/4 last time out to break her maiden. It was as impressive a maiden victory as we've seen from a filly in 2016. This will be her first start as a 3-year-old, but she was so much the best here. I mean, this is a joke.
She was 60 cents in the dollar. That made her 3-5 in this race. It's only the second start of her career. She hadn't raced in 5 months. Her debut was June 23rd. She ran second that day and comes back here November 26th. Triple hammerlock late. Mike Smith won by 10 1/4 could have won by 17 1/4 at 6.5 furlongs, stopping the clock in 1:16. The buyer, a solid 87. And boy, has she trained well on paper since. 46-3 Bullet, 58-3 Quickest of 63, 11-4, 12-3, and most recently a 47-4 half-mile drill on my birthday, which happened to be Wednesday.
Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Unique Bella, she looked like a tall, leggy-looking filly there, as we take a closer look at this talented 3-year-old filly by Tappet.
Unrivaled Belle was one of the toughest race mares we've ever seen.
And it has got to be Unrivaled Belle. And can DeSolvo take the Ladies Classic in a huge performance?
So astute observers knew it was only a matter of time before she produced a runner that possessed her mix of grit and talent. And along came Unique Bella. Sired by Tappet, Unique Bella finished second in her debut before crushing her rivals in a dazzling performance next time out.
This was a one-horse race, and that one horse is Unique Bella.
She trains like a superstar. Now they got to do that in the afternoon. Sometimes some horses do that, and they don't have the same performance in the afternoon. But I was really happy to see that she did.
She likes this racetrack and coming into the race in very good form.
With only 2 starts and no stakes appearances, it's still unclear where Unique Bella fits in the loaded Southern California sophomore filly division. But Sunday's Santa Ynez should give us a pretty good idea.
It's hard not to get excited about her. That pedigree is as good as it comes by Tappet out of Unrivaled Belle. And she has lived up to it so far in 2 starts. She looks the horse to beat, Matt. Is she the horse to bet?
I mean, Jerry Hollenofer, who's a pretty conservative guy, has been comparing her to Songbird just a little bit. You've heard that from the Hollenofer camp. I mean, Noted and Quoted is one of the big 3 in this race. She didn't run very well in the juvenile filly. She got the lead in that race. She kind of stopped at the half-mile pole, ended up running 7th Champagne Room for Peter Urton, pulling the huge upset in that race. But she's a Grade 1 winner. She won the Grade 1 Chandelier at Santa Anita at 1 mile and a 16th. Route speed, turning back in distance. Another one who seems to be training well. So, I mean, Noted and Quoted with her class Grade 1 win at Santa Anita. Obviously a major threat. She's 5-1 on the line, Noted and Quoted.
We take a look at her coming home in the Chandelier here, and she finishes up like a good thing. But it seems as if she could be on an every other pattern. What is it about this filly that brings her A race some days and other days not?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure Bob Baffert's trying to figure it out, and if anybody can figure it out, it will be Bob. Giving her some time off, of course, since the juvenile filly. So that race back in the 5th of November. Another runner appears to be training really well. Her win in the Chandelier, it's a Grade 1. Was it the greatest of Grade 1s? No. The 2-year-old filly division, not the strongest of 2-year-old filly divisions that we've seen in recent memory here in the state. So good win, not great win. But Unique Bella is a faster racehorse, and the horse we're going to talk about next also appears to be a quicker horse.
Shane's girlfriend, named after Shane O'Neill's girlfriend. Actually, I don't think she is his girlfriend, but there's a cute little story behind it. At this point, the story is secondary because this filly just freaked in the Grade 3 Delta Princess.
The thing that I love about this race, Mike, was in her debut, it was a sparkling gate-to-wire win. Boy, does she have innate gate speed and talent. And she just ran them off their feet. So you stretch her out in distance, she's going to go right to the lead again. It wasn't a wire-to-wire win. She actually raided. I love the fact that she raided early on, took control, won by a baker's dozen in that race. Somehow she wasn't favored over that maiden score at Santa Anita in the Grade 3 Delta Princess. I like her in this race. I think she's going to beat Unique Bella as your second choice. She's 9-5 on the line.
Standing by with Shane's girlfriend's trainer is our very own Brittany Urton. Brittany?
Shane's girlfriend trying to stay undefeated in the Santa Ynez with trainer Doug O'Neill. Take me back to the Delta Princess. We got to stand with Leandros. He was watching it. He was almost rendered speechless. What were your thoughts of her performance that day?
It was insane, her debut was so impressive, and then to put her on a plane and take her there, second time out, going 2 turns. We were asking a lot of her, and to see what she did there, really, it was very special.
Has she always been a horse that's trained well in the morning, shown you a lot of talent?
She has, but a lot of them do, but you really never know till you lead them over there, and she's one of the ones that fortunately brought her morning activity into the afternoon, and she's very average to look at, really, but she jumps a long way, and it's got a lot of heart.
She was a force to be reckoned with in that race, but you're facing a very impressive maiden winner in Unique Bella. How do you think that they stack up?
I don't know. Yeah, I know we had one in that race against the Unique Bella, and we were saddling a couple stalls down from Jerry and his crew, and man, she's a beast. She's a big, beautiful filly. So, and she ran huge her last race. So, it's going to be a great race, and I know Baffert's got a couple in there too, I think. So it's going to be a real interesting race, but I wouldn't trade place with anybody.
Quality field for sure. You were considering running against the boys in the Sham Stakes yesterday. Why did you opt to face the fillies and cut back in distance?
You know, it was just kind of a team decision. WC boys and the other partners, and we just decided to keep her against the fillies. You know, it makes the most sense. And I just not crazy. Once they go 2 turns, bringing horses back to 1 turn, but hopefully later today we'll be happy with our decision.
And that being said, where do you think we'll see her within the field on the cutback?
You know, I love her post. I love the continuity, having the same pilot on her. So I see her laying right in the garden spot, 3rd or 4th, something like that. But she's got the speed to be up there, too, if something happens. And a few of them don't break as well. But, you know, it's in Flavian hands. And she ate up last night. And there she is right there looking out of stall 1. And she's got her game face on, ready to roll.
You have 2 other entrants within the field. What are your thoughts on the other 2 fillies?
They're nice fillies. They're probably not ready at this point, so the tentative plan is to scratch both of them and go into allowance spots. So I'm in the middle of calling the owners and talking that through, but we had talked yesterday with both clients of those horses, and both fillies are doing well, but they're in kind of deep water today, so we're going to look for softer spots.
Okay, thank you for the update, and best of luck today.
I'm actually going to go back in the office. TVG2, I don't know if you guys know this.
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, unbelievable show. The starting gate with Mike Joyce. It's incredible. So if we're down at the track, we just TiVo it and we come back and watch it. But it's a must watch.
But you know, you're on the starting gate right now.
I'm on the starting gate. What?
You're special. Wow. You are really special.
Glad you didn't tell me before. I'd have been real nervous. This is like the Letterman show or so. This is crazy. Cool stuff. Mike, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
We got our very own David Letterman in the studio. That's Mike Joyce.
There he is. I love it. Well, thanks for having me on this show. This is unbelievable.
Doug, thank you for your time and good luck today.
Thank you.
And from what I'm hearing, you guys, Shane and his girlfriend will be at the track today, so that should be interesting. Best of luck to them, Shane's girlfriend in the Santa Ynez.
Thank you very much, Doug. Pleasure to have you on our show here. Yes, I'm just gap's tooth away from being David Letterman, and that many people want me to just walk off into retirement. His chances today with Shane's girlfriend, though, very good at the Santa Ynez.
Get word out about this show, Doug.
Yes, please, tell everyone.
You know a lot of clout. You know a lot of people. Spread the word.
Yes. Hopefully we have some more viewers tomorrow after that little plug.
What's your question?
I don't know.
I like Shane's girlfriend.
Yes.
I like Doug.
Apparently Shane likes his girlfriend as well. That horse looks as talented as any 3-year-old filly.
I agree.
In this race. Let's transition from Santa Anita, as we stay in the Monarch family, all the way down to Gulfstream Park, as Caton Bradar is standing by. Caton?
Mike, we have, I mentioned blustery day, but we have great conditions so far as the track is concerned, fast and firm, and I think the cool temperature is welcome for a lot of maidens on today's card. Though the featured 9th race is not a maiden race, there are 5 of 11 races today that are for non-winners lifetime, and I think those are the best opportunities to actually get any value. Second race in particular is just a great race as far as unknowns are concerned, and I think these are the most fun to watch. You have a field of 6, and only 2 have raced prior to this day. So not a lot of form to go off of, but a lot of really good pedigrees, including special event. The 2 filly comes in. She's out of the nice mare Lorena. She's for Shug McGahee, who is not known to crank up his young horses, but that said, her workouts have been pretty steady and solid, and Johnny Velasquez gets the call. She draws toward the inside for the 7-furlong dash, which I think, all things being equal, could be a little disadvantage for those young horses with a first-timer to her inside and her outside, but I'm eager to see her. I also thought Forget It on the rail for Bill Mott comes by way of Payson, similar to Special Event. She's another one well-bred with Jose Lascano on board, and while Bill Mott has not been the trainer that you think of as cracking with first-time starters. He has had at least one win at this meet that paid well, and he's had a number of well-meant first-timers. I think there's a bit of a change in the barn, to be honest with you, as far as the types of individuals he's getting bloodlines-wise. I think he's getting more precocious individuals, and they are winning. The other race that I thought was of interest is the 6th race today, and the biggest reason I'm interested in this is because of Chad Brown. He has a runner here, Lady Nikki, the 9. Now, this is a maiden claiming race, but yesterday Chad Brown ran 1-2 on the turf, and it paid well. $64 exacta with the Chad Brown finishers 1-2. The runner-up that race was Inexplicably. Lady Nikki has been working favorably head-and-head with Inexplicably. And while Inexplicably came a little bit short of Teperge, her stablemate, Lady Nikki's in a little bit easier spot. She's 9-2 on the morning line. I'm not sure we're going to get that, but if we get close to it, she is definitely worth taking a look at. So again, the maiden races to me are where the opportunities exist to make a little money. It seems like in even the allowance races, the bettors have been on target with their favorites coming in.
Kate, and I'm glad you said that about Bill Mott, too, because I completely agree, and I think there has been a shift, and I think it's pretty evident. Even though the stats, if you just glance at the stats in the daily race form, he looks like he's about a 10% first-out trainer, but there have been a lot more precocious, big-running, first-time-out horses from Bill Mott's barn in the last 12 months than I've ever seen come out of that barn.
Yeah, and when he debuts a horse with Lasix, the percentages first time out go up big time. It's that time, folks. Yesterday, the moneymaker was scratched because they didn't run in New York. So luckily, I picked a Gulfstream race for the moneymaker for today. Longshot that I like. The price has to be 10-1 or higher. Either the most difficult, most challenging race on the entire card at Gulfstream was race number 7. 7.5 furlongs on the turf. How about Dominate? 15-1 on the line. Going back and watching this horse's last start at the 16 level that he competes at today, he had a terrible trip from the rail throughout. The comment is steady 3/8 pull. It was worse than that. Worse than steady 3/8, lacked room. Just kind of uncomfortable on the inside throughout the majority of the running of that race. I thought it was pretty impressive for this horse to finally get some room late, come home beaten 4.5 lengths. This horse had a really good win 2 starts back against Softer at 9-1. So strong win 2 back, jumped up in class to this level, terrible trip 5th, and should get a perfect stalking trip in this race. There's a couple of speed balls to go to the lead. The rest of the horses are sort of closers. He's one of the only stalkers in the field. So wide open race, trip means everything, especially in a big field on turf. I think Dominate 15-1 morning line gets a really nice trip. Hopefully a much better trip than his last start, in which he broke towards the inside and was stuck on the rail throughout.
When we return here on the starting gate, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to get out of the stakes ranks and into the stakes hopefuls, our prospect of the week, and we'll take a look at a couple of impressive maiden winners from earlier. Welcome back to the starting gate. Time now for us to take a look at our prospect of the week. We travel back in time to Matt's birthday, the 4th of January. A first-time starter from the Todd Pletcher barn named Malagasy. Let's take a look at this debut performance from the Pletcher camp.
And they're off. Making a mess of the start was Into Belief. Malagasy begins nicely, sent hard from the rail in Fusion, and these two speed away 3 lengths better than an improving Lenstar. To the inside of him is Wahoo Wah. The Hardest Way is now moving up. He's in very tight. The Hardest Way is marching right to the front here. The Hardest Way is in very tight, but he is in front as they run around the far turn. Taking up were both Valdaco and Diamond Jim, as there wasn't a lot of room in that second flight behind that horse Lenstar. A lot of going on here. Meanwhile, up front, Malagasy has a head in front of the Hardest Way second, and Fusion is now third. Lenstar is 4th, 5 lengths off the lead, a stretch of 4 more. That's half back, 3.5 lengths clear of a rallying Into Belief. Then comes Valdaco, and on the outside, Wahoo Wah. They run to the top of the stretch. Malagasy suddenly blows this wide open. It's open to 5-length lead without being asked for his best. He's now pouring it on here. Here's Malagasy running up the score. He's 12 on top. Look at Malagasy go away. Into Belief is rolling for a minor award. He'll get into second, but Malagasy in a jog. Into Belief got second, ahead of Lenstar third, then halfback fourth. The Hardest Way was fifth, ahead of Diamond Jim in 103 and 3.
Wins by 15 in a 5.5 furlong sprint, 103 and 3. the final time. Pletcher Firster 5-2 on the morning line, who went the right direction. He floated up to 5-1. This was a super impressive debut. That's the good news. That's the obvious. He wins by 15. It was a solid maiden special group at Gulfstream Park. The bad news in terms of a Derby prospect, as much as I love Shackelford, he's one of my favorite horses. My wife has a yearling at Lamb Home down in Florida, a Shackelford horse. So he's been a good sire thus far. This horse is by Shackelford out of a DeHare mare. I just don't know if this horse is going to get more than a mile and a 16th.
Well, it was an impressive performance, as you saw right there, and so impressive. Here's what Todd Pletcher had to say after the race.
I think in a lot of ways it was sort of a perfect setup for him. You know, Javier and I spoke in the paddock prior to the race, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "You know, most of these 5.5 furlong races are won at the break, so hopefully come away from there running." And I think he loved the conditions, and he caught a flyer at the start and ran super. Javier, when he got off him, said, "I think this horse will stretch out, no problem." I need to see a little more of that in his training to be convinced. So I would think we'd be looking at an allowance race, you know, maybe stretch him out gradually, 7 furlongs or something like that.
Well, he is ultra impressive, and we shall see more from Malagasy. Who knows? I mean, maybe they get going quick enough with this one. We can find him on the Derby Trail.
Yeah, maybe the Holy Bull, maybe, for his next start. I think it's the 4th of February.
We're going to go 3 days before your birthday. The first day of the new year. Tampa Bay Downs, as 5 Each Way looked very good as well. 5 Each Way was a second-time starter for Graham Motion. It was going postward. There's a mile on the turf for this maiden special weight affair. This filly by Bullet Train. Let's take a look at her performance.
Back 137-3. It was really close for the minor awards, but look how game this runner is. She's kind of stuck on the inside. I love the fight that she put forth here. This is career start number 2 from her. Didn't run all that well in her debut. She's kind of a green thing, not the biggest of fillies, but very determined win. So I like the heart that she put on display, and you're going to go through her rather nice pedigree that she has.
Well, I mean,
Bullet Train. We also have a Bullet Train yearling.
Yeah. R-Tax on the back. You have, she was a little bit of a late filly, you can see April 29th, but look at this. Look at Glittering Tax. Boom. Miss Temple City. Do we even need to go through her exploits? Because there's so many of them, it fills up about this much of the page.
Multiple Grade 1 winner, beaten males at Keeneland. And how about Price of Perfection? I actually bet her in the Juvenile Fillies Turf in 2015 for Chad Brown. She's a runner that a lot of ability, very good. So those are 2 really good turf horses. So you would think with that pedigree, what she did on grass could be a really, really nice turf runner in the future for Graham Motion.
So those are some of our top prospects. Let's talk about some maiden races that could be exciting, and we start with the second at Gulfstream Park today. Caton already mentioned this one, but some very good horses in here. The favorite is Blame the Law. I don't necessarily believe that Blame the Law is absolutely going to be your favorite come post time, because this offers a number of different directions. You can see the morning line odds maker almost punts here with everyone between 5-2 and 6-1.
Just quickly, Ellie's honor for me. Jorge Abreu, Chad Brown assistant, had 2 starters in 2016, both the same horse, Woodville. Horse freaked on 2 occasions at Saratoga. Won his debut by 11.5. I think it's kind of sneaky that Javier takes the call for a Chad Brown assistant. Firster by Hansen. I just kind of, smell a good performance here.
Yeah.
From Ellie's honor.
No, I'm with you on Ellie's honor, and I would back that up with Forget It for Bill Mott at 6-1. I know that rail draw is an ideal for the 7 furlong affair, but this is a filly that has shown some precocity in the mornings, and she's by distorted humor. A lot to like there. We switch our attention to the fairgrounds, as their 7th race offers a good look at some lightly raced rear-olds. You have a number of first-time starters in here, and some very good horses, prospectively from a pedigree perspective, like it like that.
Yeah, you're not going to get 6-1 here, are you? I mean, I can't imagine. And I mean, Al Stahl is the conditioner first and foremost, and Al Stahl is really good first time out. He wins at a 24% clip. The work's on paper. You see a Bullet 47-2 at the Fairgrounds November 28th, and a horse by Midnight Lou cost $105,000. Keeneland September sale 2015 with some really nice pedigree.
Let's take a look at that pedigree. Like it like that, as you mentioned, by Midnight Loot. And the bottom side, Love and Happiness. Love and Happiness, what has she done? Happy Ticket. Ever heard of her?
Yeah, Happy Ticket was great. 12 for 20 lifetime. Won the Grade 1 Ballerina. Second in the Breeders' Cup Distaff back in 2006. Made over $1.6 million in her career. Lost the Distaff to Round Pond for Mike Matz in that race. So really good pedigree. A trainer that wins first time out. 6-1 is probably going to be 5-2, I would think, come post time at the fairgrounds for race 7.
That's some of the races to look forward to today. You never know when the next stakes winner is going to pop up on your radar, as you have an opportunity to bet all those stakes races and all those maiden races and everything you see at tvg.com. We have a couple of sign-up offers for you. Bet 10, get 30. Use the promo code BET, or you can do the $100 deposit match. We're going to take a break. When we return, we will continue our discussion. Some of the top racing action across the country. Santa Anita, just a beautiful day here in Southern California, as we are accustomed to. I kind of want to go to the track today. We keep showing these beautiful shots of Santa Anita. After the rain, the sun is shining and a beautiful day in Southern California.
73 degrees, yeah.
Phillies take center stage today, so we'll have Oaks talk next week. But today we can talk Derby because they ran the Sham. 10 points awarded to Gormley for that half-a-nose victory. And you, my friend, are getting very bold today. We're going Derby top 10.
No kidding.
On January 11th,
this is showing,
top 10 list from Matt Carruthers.
This is showing intestinal fortitude, folks, right? Right. Derby 10 list this early on. Let's get right to it. Number 10, horse with outstanding pedigree. Irish War Cries, 2 for 2 lifetime. This is a Graham Motion horse. He knows how to win the Derby. He did it a few years ago, 2011 with Animal Kingdom. By curling out of a Polish numbers mare, lightly raced, 2 for 2. Love the pedigree. Love Graham Motion, number 10.
Number 9.
McCracken, this horse is undefeated.
Yeah.
3 for 3. This is a horse by Go Sapper of a Seeking the Gold mare for Ian Wilkes. Just won the Kentucky Jockey Club. Deserves to be in the top 10.
Number 8.
Got a couple for Pletcher, a couple for Baffert, as you'd expect. Battalion runner for Pletcher. Just crushed opposition the 30th of December by 8 3/4 lengths in a very quick final time of 22-4 at Gulfstream by Unbridled Song out of a Tappet mare. Pedigree's there.
Number 7. Oh, the Delta Jackpot. That weekend at Delta Downs is coming into play all kinds of times today.
This horse is by Dialed In, who was the favorite in the Kentucky Derby a few years ago, the year that Animal Kingdom actually won out of an unbridled mare, was 5th to Classic Empire in their Breeders' Futurity, and had a huge win at Delta Downs in the Grade 2 $1 million jackpot.
Number 6.
Faja.
Who?
Faja. The other Pletcher horse on my list, this horse is by Bodemeister, out of a Salt Lake mare that concerns me a bit. Won by 8 3/4 lengths. In 136-3 in his only start, he was 6-1 in that race. Huge upside. Love the pedigree.
Mama told me not to reach. You're going to have to do your top 5.
Number 5, I'm going to go with Gormley. Number 5, Grade 1 winner. He can go to the lead. He can rate. Showed a lot of guts winning yesterday. So Gormley has the pedigree also by Malibu Moon. He's number 5. Number 4 for me, yes, I'm going to go with American Anthem, who lost to Gormley in the Sham on Saturday. More upside, I think, here. Like the Derby pedigree a little bit better by Bodemeister out of an AP Indy mare. So with a little bit more seasoning, I think American Anthem might be slightly better than Gormley. Number 3, this is where I don't want these lists to just look like everybody else's top 10 list.
Who's that?
Beach Bum. This is my Baffert horse that I have towards the top of the list by Arch out of a Stormcat mare. Only start 122-4, won by more than 5 lengths.
I like that one.
Motown. This horse's maiden win was spectacular. I thought he looked very good in the Remsen. I believe the sire Uncle Mo can get a Derby winner. So I like Motown as number 2. And number 1, you have to go with Classic Empire. He was that good in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He was that good in the Breeders' Futurity. Actually, I was texting Norm Cassie, assistant trainer, over the last 20 minutes or so. If all goes well, the Holy Bull will be his next start, according to Norm Cassie, on the 4th of February. He is a spectacular racehorse with exquisite pedigree, Mike, by Pioneer of the Nile out of a Cat Thief mare. Cat Thief, of course, won the Breeders' Cup Classic nearly 20 years ago for Wayne Lucas at a huge price. There's the list. Let me hear it from you.
I like it. I like it a lot. Can we take a picture of this just in case the Derby finishes with these 10 in exact order? What would that bet
I'll be
be?
shredding this top 10 list up probably in a matter of weeks.
Matthew, thank you for going out on that limb. We are going to take a break. When we return, we are going to get more information. Brittany Urton joining us. I'm going to put Matt on the hot seat once again before the end of today's program. We'll be back. Welcome back to the starting gate. Matt and I have done a good job with the terrestrial U.S. racing, but it's time for Candace Hare to update us with the international report.
Royal Ascot winner Acapulco has been transferred from Wesley Ward to Aidan O'Brien in Ireland. Acapulco's mostly known for her strong juvenile campaign, which included a win in the Queen Mary and his nice second-place finish against older horses in the Group 1 Nunthorpe Stakes at York. The now 4-year-old will once again be pointed towards Royal Ascot, and upon her retirement will be bred to leading Coolmore stallion Galileo. In Hong Kong, Harbourmaster won the Group 3 January Cup on Wednesday at Happy Valley. Harbourmaster once again showed his affinity for the city course in a race which was marred by several tough luck stories. Post-time favorite Basic Trilogy struggled to find running room late, and Circuit Land was nabbed right on the wire. Harbourmaster's now been first past the post at Happy Valley on 4 of 8 occasions, and the January Cup marked his first win in international group-level company. The New York Racing Association will offer a $1 million bonus to the connections of any Japan-based runner should they win this year's Belmont Stakes. Japan last year began simulcasting a limited number of races so long as they had a representative in the field. Last year, in the only American race which was simulcasted, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf, the Japanese punters wagered nearly $7.8 million. And last year, Japan-based runner Lani ran in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown, with his best finish coming in the Belmont Stakes, where he finished 3rd. This week's overseas racing was highlighted by the Magic Millions race day at the Gold Coast in Australia. The featured race that day is the 2-year-old Classic, which was won by last year's Golden Slipper winner, Capitalist. Also on the card is the 3-year-old Guineas, which features a mouth-watering matchup between winning Rupert, who's undefeated in 5 career starts, and Global Glamour, who, true to her name, is owned by an all-lady syndicate made up of nearly 40 women in 7 different countries. Racing Syndicate manager Anna Seitz said she believes the step up to 1,400 meters should perfectly suit Global Glamour, and that she feels, so long as she stays safe and sound, that she has a big campaign ahead of her.
Candace, thank you very much. Now we head to Santa Anita, where Brittany Ayrton wraps things up from Santa Anita this morning. Brittany?
Well, just a quick update on the Santa Ynez. Since we last spoke, Noted and Quoted is scratched out of that race. And if Doug O'Neill scratches his other 2 horses and Carey is also a scratch, that leaves us to a field of 5 in the Santa Ynez. So an update, the Grade 1 winner, Noted and Quoted, will not run today in the Santa Ynez for Bob Baffert. And when it comes to Bob Baffert and his special horses, when you're a special horse, you get special treatment. Arrowgate will be working today at Santa Anita at 11:45. We also have a couple of other horses working between races. Phil D'Amato has 2 horses working, as well as Graham Motion. My father has 3 horses working in Kobe's Back, Ashley Love Sugar, and Champagne Room. And Mick Ruiz, for his Pegasus contender, War Envoy, will be working after race number 3. I spoke with him earlier. He said, we don't want to break Arrowgate's heart, so we're not going to work at the same time. I love the fun banter that's going on between everybody that has a slot in the Pegasus World Cup. But Arrowgate, your Breeders' Cup Classic winner, will work today at 11:45 underneath Martin Garcia.
Thank you very much, Brittany. And tomorrow is January 9th. We won't only be celebrating Jimmy Page and Richard Nixon's birthday, we'll also be beginning our coverage from the Keeneland Sale of All Ages. Christina Blacker is on an airplane right now on her way to Lexington, Kentucky. Almost 1,900 horses will be cataloged. Broodmares, broodmare prospects, yearlings, horses of racing age, and stallions. Christina will be reporting tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the 9th through the 11th. All the reporting she does, you can see right here on TVG2. The January sale starts tomorrow. Matthew.
What time? I'm going to the Nixon Library tomorrow. I'm going to be in San Clemente.
Cinco to Cinco, you ready? 5 questions for Matthew. Okay. First question. What was the second best race you saw yesterday? Second best.
The Old Hat. Old Hat. That was a great race.
Old Hat. I like it. Okay. 2. What is the best sequential wager in the country today?
Pick 4. Gulfstream. Late pick 4.
You're going to Vegas today. More enticing pools, the Parimutuel or the European?
European.
When was the last time you had a Derby winner in January?
Never.
And if all of the racing were canceled like it was yesterday because of the snow, what would you rather do? And you can only do one. Watch football or eat Mexican food?
Oh, Mexican food and margaritas every day of the week, my friend.
Yeah, football's unwatchable. Thank you for joining us on the Starting Gates. We are finished. Santa Ynez coming up later today from Santa Anita. For Matt, I'm Mike. We'll see you next time.